Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Hi guys, and welcome to another Fool of the Week. This week's Fool is James Cleverly. And as I've said before, it costs just £42.44p to legally change your name in the United Kingdom. Cleverly could easily put this against parliamentary expenses, I would imagine. Anyway, he was responding to a question here in the House of Commons on Wednesday from Caroline Lucas. The Green MP highlighted the massive loss of life that has occurred over the last number of days in Gaza and asked the Foreign Secretary to at least entertain the idea of working with the United Nations to push for a ceasefire. James's response is why he's Fool of the Week.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. We don't yet know who's responsible for the unspeakable atrocity at the Gaza hospital, but we do know that hundreds were killed and hundreds more injured. We do know that yesterday an IDF airstrike hit an UNRWA school where thousands were sheltering, killing more, and we do know that over 3,000 civilians have been killed in Gaza so far. So while Israel does have the right to self-defense, it cannot include mass bombing of densely populated areas if Israel is simultaneously to stay within international law. Hear, hear. So I urge the Minister to think again about the issue of a ceasefire. Of course it would need to be worked for, of course it's going to be hard, but unless the UK government gives its backing to the UN on this issue, then thousands more are going to be killed, and we should be on the right side of history, and I'm very much afraid right now that we won't be.
Foreign Secretary.
Israel, of course, is one of the parties engaged in this military operation, but there are others, including Hamas, including Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and others. And I would suggest that anyone calling upon Israel to cease military operations at least calls on the terrorists to do likewise. But you
here. What the F? Okay, and the reaction, well, yeah, people's reaction was like, what the F? What is wrong with you? Okay, so what's the problem here? Well, if people don't understand, the problem here is that Hamas is a terrorist organization according to the UK government. So it doesn't follow international rules and regulations. It doesn't respect international law. So there is a party, one of the belligerents, Israel, that we can ask to respect international law. It has signed up to international law. Hamas hasn't. So what's the point in members of parliament asking Hamas to respect international law when it hasn't signed up to it? It's insane. Yeah, well, we need to ask them to stop. Well, we have no influence over them. Us in the West have no influence over Hamas. Now, there are parties around the world that do have influence, perhaps. Iran, maybe Qatar. These are countries that have influence, but we don't. So we have perhaps some influence, and the UK government certainly has some influence, we would imagine, over the Israeli government. So you could press them to agree to a ceasefire, but there's no point talking about Hamas because we have no leverage, we have no influence over them. And for him to say, well, why don't you ask Hamas to do the same? But we can't. They're not going to listen to us. They don't care. Now, you could also apply that to Israel, but I think the European Union, the United States, the UK have a bit more influence over Israel than they do have over Hamas. Absolutely insane. Once again, it doesn't cost a lot of money to change your name. The MP from Braintree. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you next time for our next Fool of the Week.